What is going on, everybody? Tis I, Photo Dave, and it is time for the Toy Picks Thursday night live stream. And for tonight's topic, we're going to be discussing our independent action figure companies, the future. Or if not, what are we looking at from the main guys, considering it looks like Hasbro has very plainly stated they're trying to produce less toys and all that stuff. I'm curious what everybody's thoughts are. Plus, with cost of licensing and all that, that seems to prevent companies like Hasbro from making actually good, really quality stuff when it comes to their licensed product. I still think their G.I. Joe and their Transformers that they partner with Takara with, I still think those are doing pretty well. But Legends and Star Wars Black Series, I feel like because of the licensing agreements they've got going on, they just aren't up to snuff as far as photogenic figures are concerned. So there's all kinds of places we can take this tonight. So the question for everybody checking this out on the replay is, do you think independent toy companies are the future? Or do you think the big boys are going to find a way to stick around and make their stuff so kids and us want it a lot more than we currently do? At least me. I guess I shouldn't talk for everybody. I see most of what Hasbro and Mattel are putting out. And I'm like, eh. But the indies, those are looking good, as well as some imports. You know me, action figure snob. So before we really get cracking, I do want to bring up the fact that later tonight, probably right around 8-ish, I'm going to announce the winner. Hear me. Okay, can everybody hear me? I just came back to the image or to everything, and nothing was showing here. And that wasn't my fault that time. Let's see. Your screen is black, no audio. We're good now, right? Let me know, guys. Let me know. Are we good? Because, whoa, let's see. We hear you now. All right, cool, cool. Appreciate it. Wow, I feel like, okay, I'm going to go fast here. We're going to do what I was just talking about, and I'm going to try and do it fast. It's weird because most of the time it is completely my fault. That time, StreamYard just cut out. So let's do this one more time. All right, I'm sure you guys heard about what we're going to do as far as the February Patreon stuff's going to go. This is this week's Patreon freebies. We have some bubbles. If you want some underwater shots with your figures, put that in Photoshop, put it above your main image layer, set it to screen, linear dodge, color dodge, whatever, and you'll have bubbles. Your figures will be underwater. Good times. Now, this is a futuristic HQ background that you can use. My preferred way is putting these on monitors, but you can blow them up on something like a poster board if you really want to print them that bad. I wouldn't worry about the DPI because very simply, this is going to be blurred when you're taking the photo anyway. So I wouldn't worry about it getting too pixely. And then we've got a stardust effect where I think of more the spores burning up in space from G.I. Joe the movie. Again, put it above your main image layer in Photoshop, set it to screen, color dodge, linear dodge, any of those to make all the black disappear. And finally, we have a castle background. So there you go. Same deal as the futuristic headquarters. Set it up and get to shooting. And this, I believe, I brought up the fact that I've been looking a lot at Mythic Legions and some of those other companies and, those other lines. And, well, I started reading a lot of stuff and I thought, ooh, I'm going to try and put together a castle. So there we go. That is everything as far as Patreon. Let me make sure StreamYard's still going. All right, it is. Game on. Everything as far as just showing the Patreon page is concerned, but I did want to bring up this real quick as well. And then we'll get cracking. The theme of March's Patreon photo contest is spring. So there is a link to enter to that in the video description. You need to be a part of the Grande tier or above, which is the $5 tier. This month, the winner will receive Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 Cammy. So that's what I got for all kinds of shamelessness there. Now, with all that finally out of the way, apologies, gang. But truly, that time it wasn't me, which is both good and bad, I think. Let's see what we've got going on in the chat. If it'll let me. Oh man, StreamYard's throwing down with me tonight. Greetings and toytations, everyone. Well, hello there, Sci-Fi George. Yes, we need an increase of quality products from indie toy companies so that fat cat companies such as Hasbro feel the pinch. Quality competition is great for always on these here little cliffhangers. Good Lord, I couldn't come up with cliffhangers, and I'm awake. Business and the customer. I say customer because customers just take anything and companies decide that just enough is good business. Sometimes, Sci-Fi George, I would argue they wouldn't decide that just enough is enough. They're like, wait a sec, nobody's made this character. We know that this version of the character is not going to be good, but hey, it's got the character's name on it, so people will buy it. Is good business minimum effort for maximum profit? Oh, geez. See, and I don't know. I don't know all the numbers. I'm just, you see what indies can do, and whether something's licensed or not, I'm kind of like, yeah, I know it's licensed. I get you have to charge more because of that, but that doesn't really matter to my wallet. My wallet's looking at it and saying, yeah, but this over here is so much cooler, The Necronominous wave from Four Horsemen is fantasy-tastic. Valaverse has its sights locked on target, and Fresh Monkey Fiction is going ape with creature figures. It's a good time for toys. Nice. I like what you said there, Sci-Fi. And yeah, all those companies, they're ready. They're ready to feast. Star, what's up, man? Good to see everybody here. I'm trying to catch up. Let's see. In answer to the title question, yes. I think there's something to that, honestly. But we shall see. Let's see what the rest of this goes down to. The larger companies are opposed to risk. That's very true. As long as they remain that way, then they will always be in the proverbial back seat. Yeah, when you have shareholders want what's safe. And so it might not even be that the company itself is averse to risk. It might be crap, if we risk something here and we blow it, we lose shareholder value. And people don't like that very much. Let's see. The winner. Oh, the winner, my friend. The winner will be announced this fine evening. I can't wait to get to the part in the stream where everybody's like, Dave, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Try a different button. Here we go. Okay. The answer to your title, yes. I got you, Brick. Let's see. All right. Screen's black. No audio. Let's see. I'm looking. If we're talking seriously, guys, like I was talking about stuff and I came back to the StreamYard tab and it was just gone. It was horrible. It's still streaming. Okay. Johnny, what's up, man? Hey, people, how's it going? Dave, your screen is down and no audio. I noticed. Woohoo, guys! Truly, I appreciate you sticking around. I This one was truly a technical glitch. You know me. You know I'm going to blow it with the technology, but this time it wasn't me. So I have to call that out when I can. Oh, let's see. We hear you now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Audio's cool. Paul, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Johnny, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. Dave, I did my very first toy photo shoot with a background on a monitor. Fun stuff. Brick, that's awesome, man. Send me some of those shots. Let's see them. That's sweet. Whew. All right. Sci-fi ramen toy should make a castle dio for Beth here. Oh man. I think ramen toy would have to do, I think in the world of mythic legions, and this is just me reading a few of the bios and stuff like that, and seeing the size of Beathir, I don't think you make something Beathir can go in. I think you have to make something he can go on. Like he needs a castle roof. Like that needs to be the dio. Like maybe something below it. But then I think the Mythic Legions guys said Beathir himself is 35 pounds. So this thing would have to be extra sturdy for anything like that. It might honestly be that if somebody makes something for Beathir, it's just a platform that looks like it's got like castle towers on it. But that would be pretty cool. Spaded one. What's going on, sir? I missed. Good Lord. Sci-fi, I mean customer instead of consumer. That's how, see, sci-fi, I understand. See, they see us as consumers when they should see us as customers. Alex, what's going on, man? Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. Star, I'm missing the lore. Great fig lines are awesome, but without great story, I just can't get into the full thrill of the vision. I get or can't get the full thrill. I understand, Star. I get that completely. That's why one of the nice things about Valaverse, and I didn't pick up any of them, but he was making comics to go with it. I think if we look back at when we were kids, everything was comics, cartoon, toy line. Now, today, it's a lot harder to do all that. People don't seem as interested in comics. Cartoons, before there were only a few channels. Now there's hundreds of everything, it seems like, on there. So that makes it trickier, which in turn makes it trickier for new toy lines to bust through. So while I will pick on these companies for being risk averse, I also understand it because the marketing budget probably has to be much more insane today than it used to be to really get your message across. Evening, Andrew. Thank you for stopping in. Oh, let's see. What have we? Oh, pile of Gould. I don't know why I went. I don't know why I went with him there. Good remember Harry. Some of the best stuff coming out are the third-party toy companies. Those are facts, and that's one of the reasons I got into. I decided that could be tonight's topic. As I was looking around, going, man, so much of this is so cool. Kyrus, what's up, man? Thank you for stopping in. Good to see you this fine evening. Sci-fi ramen could do a cave or castle diode just for the flame head. You know what would be kind of twisted, but also kind of funny, and I think we talked about this in the last stream. Just getting the neck part, where he's spitting out the fire, and just making his head so it's like a mount on a wall. That would be like somebody slayed the dragon, and now we had it stuffed. Spaded one, gonna be picking up my Mofex John Wick 3 on Saturday. Cannot wait for Maschiano. Very nice, Spaded one. That'll be sweet. I keep wondering, I keep thinking I need a John Wick. Dude, I want to see that Mr. C 50/50 guy get one of those dragons. He's the only guy I can think of doing medieval dios at that scale. Man, that stuff, when you guys told me about him and I was looking at it, his stuff's incredible. But what's he use? Like, doesn't he use the same pink foam that pretty much everybody does? And I only say that, that's not a knock on him at all. His stuff is insane. I just wonder if it's strong enough to hold Baethir. Mr. Matson found Jada DJ at Target today. Whoa. Okay, that's miraculous. The newest figures I've seen at Target around here was, let's see, they were M. Bison and Dalsim. And I think I did see a Ken once, like genuinely once. So in theory, I could have picked them all up. I still need Ken and M. Bison right now. Yeah, the Chaos Dark Knight Returns Batman third party is a must have for me. Nice. All right, now something else I did want to bring up here real quick, and I forgot about it at the beginning. If you guys aren't going with Ramen Toy for the Musk and you're waiting for someone else to carry it, you can get the Super Musk on Big Bad Toy Store. But from what I understand, the only way you get the unlocks is if you back it via Ramen Toys. But if you don't need the fire hydrant and the mailbox and the lamppost, then getting it here, you're only really paying a little more, like at another probably about 30. What do we got? It was 308 for me after all in. So this would be whatever, the 330 plus tax for you guys plus $4 shipping. I believe it's $4 shipping. Let me see if they have any kind of thing saying no, 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 no. I don't see anything. I know when that Metroplex came out, the 4-foot one, they had something in there like, yeah, we won't be shipping this for $4. But I don't see that kind of disclaimer here. So I did want to show that real quick. And I also wanted to show, let's stop this, what we've actually got going on with Ramen right now. They need 1,200 to hit that, what was it, the phone booth. And they're currently at 997. So if anybody's on the fence, get off the fence, man. I need my phone booth. Anyway, there you go. That's what we got going on there. Those are the other things I wanted to chat about real quick. Now, let's go back to the chat. See where this leads us. Yep, same foam as everyone else. He has a background in construction, so I guess maybe he knows what he needs for support. I didn't know he had a background in construction. He probably, if anybody could do it, it is probably him. Kyrus, oh, Toy Picks. I just got the Mezco Doc Ock. It's epic. Great figure. I highly recommend it. Man, I just put on X yesterday. Okay, everybody, what's your favorite Mezco figure? And now I've heard Doc Ock. I've heard Iron Fist. There was somebody else, and I can't remember who it was. there weren't that many suggestions, but one of the guys is like, "Oh, does this mean Photo Dave's gonna get in on Mezco?" I'll tell you this now. I did get in on a figure that I've never gotten. Like, it's from an independent line. I've never gotten a figure from it before. It's on its way. You'll see it when I get it. Well, you'll probably see it after the patrons see it, but you'll see it very soon. I want to know how good this thing is. It's entertaining for me. Let's see what's up. Oh, what's up, Flatline? Thanks for stopping in, man. Big thank you again for giving Brother Benson credit for the Toy Fair picks on Transformers and Mask. Man, that's just, I mean, it's just what you're supposed to do, right? Like, I found a ton of pictures and he took some great shots. And I mean, it feels like what you should do. Just, oh, hey, this photo's from Ben Yee. So yeah, it's a cool, like, he did a great job. So no worries. I mean, that just feels like, to quote the White Tiger, it's the right thing to do. Well, I can't speak for what's come out, but I can say what's not come out yet, like Jada Edge Runners not being found on my doorstep. Not sleeping anymore. Very tired. Now, oh, Star, you can't do that to yourself, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's terrible. Kyrus, I pulled the trigger on that Mezco Arnold Conan yesterday, Toy Picks. What do you think of that figure? I'm afraid it might be too short. You know, I don't know. I think, honestly, and I'm not a movie guy, but when I saw it, most of the time Mezco puts something up, I might post it out of obligation, feeling like, okay, somebody in the audience is going to want to see this. When I saw that, though, I thought, this is pretty cool. So I guess that's where I'm at. Is I just think it's pretty cool. It's not going to be my first Mezco figure, but that doesn't mean I didn't think it was rad. And maybe it will be too short. I don't know. Johnny, you bought Clark Kent, I bet, from that third party toy line, Dave. Clark, man, I can't buy Clark unless the Musk gets 1,200 sales, man. You can't get Clark without a phone booth, Johnny. Let's see here. Flatline, my favorite is Old Man Logan because it was a gift from a nature toy group that surprised me out of the blue. Okay, that's just unfair. Of course that's going to be your favorite because that's an amazing gift. Can you imagine somebody just like out of the blue, hey, have a Mezco? I'd be just going, That's awesome, man. Congrats on that. The Mezco Old Man Logan. I mean, I figured that's what you meant, Flatline. No worries. Star almost pulled the trigger on Mezco Conan recently. Needed to be saving up for 3-0 TLX Transformers. Gonna be a pretty heavy price tag. Man, I was looking at my pre-orders yesterday and I'm going, okay, what can I get rid of? it was not pretty. Spaded one. My favorite Mezco thus far is the Stealth Ops Gomez. Basically Snake Eyes with a bug head and an ungodly amount of cool accessories with gimmicks and soft goods. Magnetic feet. The works. Perfection. Ooh, that does sound good. I think my favorite Gomez that I've seen has been the one that's like the casino one, the one that looks like a James Bond kind of Gomez. But I'll have to check that one out because I do think Gomez almost has to be my first Mezco, right? Brick, yes, it's the right thing to do. Love that episode. Yeah, it was really good, man. I know the numbers don't seem to be great on Daredevil, but so far I thought it's been a great show. So hopefully they can pick it back up. Hopefully they increase as the show goes. Most recent figures I got was the ML Wolverine in the black and yellow and the Walmart Retro G1 Transformer Gears. Oh, what do you think of that? I got the Legacy Gears and I love that figure, but it's kind of cheating. I mean, it's kind of like you with that Mezco figure, your Mezco Old Man Logan. My very first Transformers were Cliff Jumper and Gears. Cliff Jumper always gets done dirty, and Gears just never gets done at all. So when I saw how good Legacy Gears was, I'm like, oh, I need that. But I might need that retro one too. And that Wolverine doesn't look too bad either. My favorite Mezco is the OG Doc Knock. Nice. I do. Yeah, a lot of people seem to love Doc Knock, the OG and the new version. Johnny, Crime City does the phone booths, Dave. Grime City, Grime City. I did not know about Grime City, Johnny. I might have to look at that. Either way, Clark Kent was not the one. Although I do feel like I need a Clark Kent, but Mofex is going to make a Clark Kent. Wreck Ship. Ahoy, Dave and Chat. Ahoy, Wreck Ship. I've got Gridiron Weapons, Mofex, Daredevil, Commander Baccarat, rest of Delta 17's figures, and a package from Joe Ricondo, all coming this weekend. Great googly moogly, sir. You've got some stuff to look forward to. That sounds amazing. Spaded One, you don't have a Mezco yet? Get yourself a Popeye. Such a fun little figure and nothing too complicated on him to get hung up on. Everybody, it's okay. So I've never heard anything bad about that Popeye, and I've never heard anything bad about the Iron Fist. So, or I mean, most people love the Gomez's too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I want to get a Mezco this year, and I think it's going to happen. I think things are going to start picking up pretty quickly here. Johnny, I'm waiting on Terrifier and Beetlejuice from Mezco. I've already made the dioramas for them. Johnny, I got to say, all right, guys, are you following on the We Free here? If you're not, check his stuff out on IG. And he posted a picture on X and probably on Instagram as well. Tagged me in it. It was amazing. It was a Leatherface picture, and swear it looked straight up 1-to-1 scale. It looked incredible. I'll probably go and see if I can find it before this live stream's over. Wreck Ship, phone is low battery, so won't be in chat tonight after this. No worries, Wreck Ship, man. I'm glad you stopped by. Get that phone charged. And, do whatever you have to do. Steal a charger if you have to, right? Been hyped for those Prime 1 Cyberpunk Edge Runner statues. Not really a statue guy, but those three are mind-blowing. Almost as mind-blowing as the price is going to be. I don't even look at Statue Star, so I'm not sure what a normal price is for them. But Edge Runners don't seem to get tons of stuff. So if you're really into it, it might make sense to just, if it says Edge Runners, get it, Johnny, I recently picked up Bert and Ernie from NECA, the Sesame Street figures. To be honest, such fun figures. Decent articulation as well. Oh, Johnny, here's what needs to happen with NECA. And we've talked about this on the stream before. They need to get the Muppets license too. And then I'm going to buy a bunch of like cotton or just stuffed animal stuffing. And I'm going to give like weapons to the Muppets. Like we're talking Tommy guns. We're talking machetes. We're talking rocket launchers, all the violent stuff, right? And what they're going to do is it's going to be the Muppets attacking Sesame Street characters, and the Muppets are just going to wipe them out. And I'll pop off like heads of Big Bird, Bert, and Ernie, and I'll put like stuffing inside of them, like they just got taken out and they were stuffed animals or puppets, because they must be destroyed. Muppets are far superior. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is an inner look at the inner workings of my brain. Nobody wanted to hear about that. See, Flatline Legacy Gears is very amazing. So I own him, or as I own him, but I will say the G1 hit me in the nostalgia gut and had me roll over like anytime. It's, ooh, man. Rolling over with a cell phone analogy. I like it. I guess, what's that like? That's more simile. Let's see, Flatline, my very first Transformer was Sideswipe. See, you got a Lambo. I got a chibified Porsche. I think you might have won. All right, it's about time to get chatting here on this topic. See, Star, any of you guys have any experience with those Frazetta figs from Frazetta Girls? They look pretty good, and I like the idea of figs based on the man's artwork. I will say, I don't know, is Vampirella, was she Frazetta Girls? I saw I saw the guy that he put out, the person that did the sculpt work. I believe it was either the person that did the sculpt work or the person that did the modeling on whatever they use, if it's ZBrush or whatever. And he showed how well she moved at the shoulder to show it looked like bicep range, and it looked incredible. My only hang up about that Vampirella figure, who truly looks amazing to me, is the fact that she doesn't have anything going on at the waist. If she did, I probably would have ordered that. Now, like, you're asking for somebody with experience on them, I don't have any, but I gotta say that Vampirella is awfully tempting. Johnny, thanks, Dave, for the shout out. Most appreciated, brother. No problem, Johnny, man. You tag me and stuff like that anytime. I love that picture. Let's see. Agree. Yes, the Muppets, Dave. You're right. Muppets, not just Muppets. Muppets destroying and decimating Sesame Street. That's what's important to me. We need violence here. Flatline. I've also got into a few Transformers blockies. The Tiny Defender series is super affordable and are perfect for desk figures when you don't want to have a ton of toys taking over the desk. See, when you've got an office called Toy Picks, I might have to have a ton of toys taking over the desk. But yeah, I've seen those and people seem to really enjoy them. For some reason, my brain just won't let me go there. All right, let's get going on. Let's get three more chats, and then we're gonna get chatting. Kyrus, Toy Picks. I am my Doc Ock pose drinking coffee with one tentacle holding the mug. That's awesome, man. Got the mug from Dick Tracy. That's perfect. I love it. All right, we'll go two more. And then I'll jump over to one other thing, another indie line we can talk about. I like your Muppet Sesame Street War, twisted but fun. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it. I think it would be hilarious. Like, honestly, I would shoot those pictures. NECA would get more money from me. They're not getting any money from me just having Sesame Street. Now, they are from Turtles, but just having Sesame Street. But if they got Muppets and Sesame Street, then they'd get way more money from me because I'd buy both just to destroy the Sesame Street characters. I need help. Maybe professional. Harry, Star, I have Dark Wolf and Tigra. The first series Tigra was bad plastic, but the replacement is great. Dark Wolf has the same articulation of a Mythic Legions. Nice. Okay. All right, guys. Now I want to call up real quick, and I know we've talked about this in the past, but let's just go to one of these right now. Look at this bad boy here. One of these Space Zombies from Mars, one of these Kickstarters, one of these indie lines that's trying to make a go for it. Now, what do we have? 18 days to go. $32,292 of 118, 155 goal. So if you're into this, game on, get a move on this. I love the look. So there's a breakout of the articulation, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. Is it possible? Obviously, we're getting tons of cool stuff from a lot of indie creators, a lot of indie companies. Now, this, though, we're looking at things that are a little more pricey. We're looking at Canadian stuff here, Canadian prices, 36 bucks for Canadian for a decent figure, which probably, hang on, let's see. I was not smart enough to do any kind of conversion. Let's go $36. Let's see, 36 Canadian. Oh, it's 25 bucks. 36 Canadian is 25 bucks about, guys. 24.95. So that's not terrible there. In fact, and this is something where obviously they don't have to pay a licensing fee for it. Let's find one of those. Here we go. Here's a figure that's pretty crazy. 57. I'm just going to do the quick calculation here. 57 CAD to USD. Oh, come on. That's about $40. So that's not bad considering all that stuff it comes with. And so the additional question here becomes, oh, hey, there's that figure. I just had to scroll down a little more. The additional question here becomes, obviously, I think that maybe the future is indies and imports. But even when I talk about imports, those prices are going way up. I love Mofex, but Mofex is getting crazy. I'm really having to cherry pick a little more recently, right? But you've got an indie here that's going to be able to do this for $40 if this thing gets funded. And that's not too bad. So is it going to make it? Because I would think economies of scale with some of the larger toy companies, right? They should be able to do this for something like, I mean, this is more stuff, I believe, than the Spider-Man, the Maximum Spider-Man or whatever, that's $50 and this is 40. But then, of course, they're going to say there's the licensing fee. And obviously, there is a licensing fee. I'm not discrediting what they're talking about there. But is that licensing fee worth $10 more when this one seems to have more stuff going for it? Like, can the big companies, because they're so risk averse and because they're paying so much for licensing, can they even compete? Are we getting to a point where not only are indie figures better, like overall, as far as the photogenic aspects of them, because of their articulation, because of all the accessories they come with, but we're getting to a point where the domestic stuff is as much money as these indie companies. And for my money, the indie companies are starting to crush them. So that's what I'm curious about. Like, what do you think? What do you think about this kind of thing? Or is that even a discussion? Is that even something to worry about? Tragic. What is up, sir? Thank you for stopping. Hey, Dave in chat. Congrats on the must, Dave. Thank you, Tragic. I appreciate it, man. I've been wanting that thing since Ace announced it, and I'm so stoked. My only problem is that now I have to wait. Like that's the big problem with the Musk. But I want that thing. I'm gonna set that up. That'll be probably the main diorama piece I use in the studio. Flatline, I want a NECA Kermit to have his arms flail wildly while hitting Big Bird with a rider kick. That would work. That would work. And tie like a chainsaw to his foot for that rider kick. And then we can have Big Bird's head falling off with cotton spilling out. Oh, that would be so much fun. I need help. Star 30 just ruined transforming Transformers for me. No going back now. I get it. I do. And I'm looking at the Constructicons because that Devastator that Studio Series is doing right now, that Devastator is why I jumped back in. But I've seen the reviews for the Constructicons. They're not looking so hot. But a lot of the stuff I picked up has been really good. So we'll see. We'll see how crazy I go here. I think I'm going to go crazy, though. Kyrus, yeah, Vampirella was for Zeta. Thank you, Kyrus. I appreciate it. I saw the video, man, of the guy that worked on her, and it was amazing. Star, oh really? I thought their articulation was supposed to be advanced. I never knew it was that limited. That's the thing, Star. I mean, for Zeta, Mythic Legions is getting more advanced in their articulation. That's why I've been looking at them more and more. Let's see. The last of the Time Lords is here. What's up, Anton? Thanks for stopping in, man. Good to see us. I don't know why I'm doing that. It is March, but I'm not that Irish. Brick, I just opened up Vampirella. Love her. Wish they had more in terms of articulation at the waist, elbows, and knees, but she is fantastic. Some figs I love for articulation, some for sculpt, etc. Totally understand that, Brick. And she is a beautiful figure, for sure. I did not know. I think what it was I was so enthralled by what he was able to do at the shoulder, giving her kind of a little bit of a bicep turn from up here where there's not even, or no, there is a slight bicep, or no, not slight. There is an actual bicep cut on her, isn't there? Am I just talking out of my you know what? And I didn't really pay much attention apparently to the elbows and knees. But if they go just above 90, I'd probably be okay with that. I just think the figure looks amazing. Anton, I am interested in that gorilla that was in the thumbnail. Thane. Anton, get on. Let's see. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I don't know if they're still in stock there. Where I found the picture was on BBTS. So yeah, look him up. His name is Thane, Thane, and he's Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Let's see, Brick. I also have Dark Wolf by Frazetta Girls. Great fig, same issue with limited articulation. That's something, man. I wish, because they do look amazing. I do wish that they'd step that articulation up just a little bit, but gorgeous. Kyra's Toy Picks. Did you see the pictures of Frankenstein 1/6 caustic plastic? It's 13 inches tall. I did not, Kyra's. Is it Universal Monsters style or more Mary Shelley style, like the novel? Star Brick. Ouch. Sad news with that articulation. Yeah, that's the one thing. Because truly, I mean, I'm like Brick. Seeing that Vampirella, she looks amazing. So I was tempted even when I saw how limited the waist was. Sci-fi Dave, no one looks at Vampirella's waist. But you got to move her to get into those poses that you're thinking of. You got to move her at that waist. If you want to go old school Jim Lee pose, that is. Your mileage may vary, in my humble opinion, Star. I love them. And as Dave said, I love the shoulders. Let's see. Tragic. It has nearly destroyed me, but it's been done. I pre-ordered Beathir. Tragic. That's wonderful, sir. Congratulations. Head times 2 and wings. Okay, tell me, since you ordered 2 of the heads, tell me you're going to mount it on something so it looks like somebody slayed a dragon and it's stuffed and mounted on a wall. This I need to see. Let's see. Back on the Ramen Raider, or Ramen Racer bread, or no, it is the Raider because it's the A-Team one, right? Bread Van, another 16 bucks after canceling, and 3 times Mezco Conan War Paint. Oh, tragic. That's going to be glorious. I can't wait to see what you do with all that. That's awesome. Star Brick, I've been on the fence with those. Let's see. Space Zombies from Mars. Oh yeah, that's I'm digging them. 25 bucks for zombies, 40 for astronauts. Man, I should have found your comment before I sat there and started converting, Brick. But we're close. That's pretty much what I got. See, with the episode where the Muppets take on the Sesame Street character Ev, today's letter is F for firearms. F for firearms, V for violence, C for cutting, whatever, man. We could do an acronym with all of it. I like it. That's a good call, Anton. Those Mars zombies look cool. Might get one. They're pretty amazing, Kyrus. It's still, I mean, the Kickstarter still needs to be funded for us to get any of them. But yeah, I do like the look. At some point, weren't even the giant companies the small indie company. Earlier in the 20th, Mattel, Hasbro, Kenner, etc. were little guys just starting out. These indies will be tomorrow's giants. It's very possible. I mean, it's possible that what we've hit is, I don't want to use any terms that are definitely above my pay grade, but I think Hasbro and Mattel, maybe not Mattel so much because they have totally evergreen brands in Hot Wheels and Barbie, right? We could argue that Transformers is evergreen from Hasbro, but it's kind of a pairing with Takara as well. And G.I. Joe, as much as we all love them, they're not exactly an evergreen brand. So maybe Mattel not so much, but when we're talking about Hasbro, they've gotten to the point where they have to cut all the corners to keep the shareholders happy. And if they're not going to cut the quarters, prices are going to have to raise. And if prices raise, they're going to sell a lot fewer units considering the customer base that they've cultivated. So they're in a tough spot. But yeah, it's possible that one of these companies comes out and ends up being the big player. At the same time, when Hasbro and Mattel were in, what were some other, like when they were starting out, what were some other toy companies? This is for the historians out there that were trying to make it big around the same time. Like when did Kenner start? When did Parker Brothers? You know, all those things. When did Tonka come out? Like I'm just now that brings up a whole other discussion. Kyrus, I've been thinking about getting a X Transbots Devastator figures. They're kind of expensive, but they look really good in robot mode. They do. They do. I'm trying to stay away from the third party Transformers. Maybe I'll get like the filler pieces and everything because I want to get to a point with Toy Picks where I'm talking more about some more mainstream type stuff that people like. If you're on my Patreon, you saw me walk to the Target that is right by my office. I want people to be able to just run to Target real quick and pick up something and come back to my office so they can take pictures of it, you know? So I thought, let's stick with Transformers that people can pick up at the mall. So that's why, that's the big reason why I'm not going into third party. Although, like I said, I'll probably get some accessory sets, some gap fillers, all that stuff. But I love the look of a lot of third party stuff. Alex, does anyone know when Death Dealer is going up on pre order from Savage Crucible? I am unaware, but Savage Crucible is another one we should talk about this fine evening. Rick, no bicep cut on Vampirella, but the shoulder does get great movement to do something similar to a bicep swivel. That's what I thought, but I couldn't. Suddenly, my brain started messing with me. Not nearly as much movement, though. No, no, but if you move your bicep, you notice like this is something that I was taught in art school is basically when you're trying to put something in a pose, put yourself in that pose and see what happens. If you move your bicep, there's not much, like it all comes out. Even your shoulder gets a little bit of movement in it. Like every time you move your bicep, your shoulder bends inward. So it's possible that what's going on with that Vampirella is more realistic when we're talking articulation than what we usually think of when we have shoulder joint deals going on. Good Lord, shoulder joint deals. Words escape me clearly. AWOC are some of the best made figures you will ever find. Even if you don't like the characters, there's no denying the quality that goes into them. Yeah, I wanna check out an AWOC. I wanna check out Mythic Legions. I want to check out Savage Crucible. That's the one where Mom actually ordered a Piranoid. So hopefully those will come sometime soon. So Savage Crucible, Mythic Legions. I want to check out an AWOC. I've seen Action Force. I love it. I've seen Monster Force. I love it. And I don't have anything from Medi Toys, and I want to check that out. Like these are all these indie companies, and technically, I was going to say I think technically NECA's indie, but I think it's part of a larger conglomerate. I'm not sure. So, but still, I probably would think of them more along the lines of an indie company. I think they're doing something that Mattel and Hasbro simply cannot compete with anymore at the price points that they have. They have to raise their price points, which means they'll sell a lot fewer. I think that's one of the problems with their action figure lines right now. But yeah, I definitely want to check out an AWOC figure. And I'm coming closer to be able to check out all this stuff. Woohoo! Tragic for Zeta girls. Conan is trying to make up for the lack of articulation. Double jointed knees and elbows. Nice. I need to look at some of that stuff a little more too. I would love to try out one of their figures. I think they look amazing. Like we talked about in the past. Like I said, I thought Vampirella looks incredible. Yeah, Universal version Frankenstein. It does look really good, or it looks really good. Thank you, Kyrus. Yeah, we might 1/6 scale though. I don't usually talk about that, but if it looks that good, Let's see. Tragic. I got the other head because I want to paint it to my liking, red or black. I will also add the LED, but then I have the mini smoke machine and going to give that the smoke effects. Oh, tragic. That sounds so good. And then after you're done painting it red or black, you're going to mount it on the wall, right? I'm just not going to let that go. That's going to be my through line joke for the for this evening. Flatline LJN. Okay. LJN was around way back when. I wonder now I'm curious how old a lot of these companies were, before they were acquired by everybody else. Space zombies are from Mars and cosmic witches are from Venus. Oh, sci-fi. You might be onto something there though. Let's see. Kenner was a peer. Okay. And Kenner was awesome. Like, who didn't have Kenner stuff? Galoob was trying to grow. Okay. Galoob, I know of Galoob. I believe they were micro machines, weren't they? Like, I'm sure they did much more, but that's what I'm thinking of with them. Anton, there's a great documentary from Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. I've seen a lot of those episodes, Anton. I just don't, I was thinking historically, what were some of those earlier toy companies? But yeah, I love those things. Yeah, good call, Star. It is a great show. What the toy tomatoes? I shouldn't sing. Rick Remco was a major player for a bit. What was I remember Remco, but I don't remember what they were doing. I don't remember what they were making. Anton, yes, it was a great show and it had lots and lots of history and special about, let's see, Mego at Star Trek, and they showed a little bit of the Planet of the Apes characters too. Amigo. Amigo wasn't that, were they 60s? I know they were 70s because they kind of bled into the 80s a little bit, right? How old was Migo? Had they been around a while before those figures got made? Flatline. I haven't gotten the third party stuff in a long time. Most recent ones were the Iron Factory Feudal Era Sunstreaker and Sideswipe from Brother Boris and family at Toy Dojo. I don't think I even knew about those. And I do loves me my Sideswipe and Sunstreaker in particular. And so my favorite Transformer with the Autobots is definitely the Dinobots, and my favorite Decepticons are the Jets, especially Starscream. Yeah, I don't know. I got to give it to Megatron. I got to give it to Megatron on the Decepticons and Prime on the Autobots, but that's almost cheating. Dinobots are amazing, but you're right about the Transformers stuff. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I likes it. Brick, yeah, Anton, good show. That's by the same crew that started Nacelle, who's doing RoboForce, Biker Mice, Star Trek, etc. I looked back at their Star Trek stuff, and I'm not the biggest fan of their articulation, but they're nailing it with accessories. And the likenesses look pretty good too. Flatline, another good figure I got, totally forgot, was the current NECA Karai. Flatline, I got that Karai. Isn't she? She's kind of amazing. Like, she moves at the diaphragm joint a lot more than you would think she does. Not like crazy good, not awesome, but it's deceptive how well she does, I think. Star, I think that Kenner started out as a couple of guys who left Mego to do their own thing. Then this guy named George Lucas walked into their office one day. From the toys that made us. It's been a bit, man. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, in retrospect, it's amazing how hard it was for George Lucas to sell Star Wars to a movie studio and then to sell the toys to a toy maker. Like, it's amazing looking back that that was as tough as it was. NECA is independently owned by Joel Still. Oh, are they? All right. Thanks, Brick. He did also start the costume company that's pretty big. So maybe that's why you think it's a conglomerate. Okay. Maybe NECA is like the overall and the main thing. Okay. Thank you, Brick. I appreciate that. See, they've also bought things like Kid Robot. Ooh, I did not know that. Okay, I'm all about the indie toy thing. I think it's fascinating and a great creative space. Yeah. I mean, what they're doing is the more I see it and the more I see what some of the bigger companies are doing, the more I'm gravitating towards the indie stuff. Indie toys of today are like indie movies in the 90s. Epic. I think that's what my brain is going with as well, Mr. Batson. Good Lord. Words, again, they fail me, and I'm even awake. As a kid, I saw Kenner as the best toy makers, loved their stuff. I don't remember if I was into the companies so much when I was a kid, but when I think about what I got when I was a kid, it was Kenner and Hasbro. Like G.I. Joe and Transformers were huge, Star Wars was huge, Batman, like the first collection that I really got into was, I mean, obviously I wanted as much as I could get from a year yeah, from an early age that I could get. But the first one I remember really going all in on was the Dark Knight collection. And I was still a kid, so my folks humored me quite a bit. I might go back one day and try and re-get all those, reacquire. Rick Remco did models and worked with IP like Universal Monsters, Star Trek, etc. Okay. Okay, thank you, Brick. I appreciate it. Oh, Remco also did those Motu competitors like Warlord, Hercules, Warrior Beasts, etc. I don't remember any of those. Oh no, I'm a terrible Remco person, obviously. Let's see. Soundwave. Oh, let's see. Yep. Soundwave is pretty amazing. And the interactivity with all his cassettes, it's awesome. I think that's a great call. All right, guys. So, what are your favorite? I've still got a couple more chats to look at, but in the meantime, what are your favorite independent lines that are out there right now? And because I know that we could all pick many, pick your top three, and let's just go from there. And let's start looking some of this stuff up. That way, we can show people great examples of these lines that everybody that wants to look at some of this independent stuff, they can start with a great figure and decide whether or not they want to keep going. That way, we can support these guys a little bit. Micronauts were way ahead of their time. It's the very definition of confusing as to why they died out. I will never understand it. They were awesome. Micronauts might have been, I know that people don't like to think about this, but if you don't market something well, it's never going to take off. I don't remember Micronauts from being a kid, but it was probably just a touch ahead of my time, so or before my time. So it might be that there was a big marketing blitz and I just don't remember it. But I don't know. I don't know. Micronauts, weren't they the ones that were the predecessors to the O-ring, like from G.I. Joe? Weren't they the first ones to use that? I think I learned it from you guys on this stream. Mr. Matson, Savage Crucible Death Dealers pre-ordering at the end of March. Delivery fourth quarter 2025. For Zeta Girls Conan pre-order March 28th. Delivery question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, so we don't know that. We might need to check out some of that stuff. Because I know Savage Crucible just looks amazing. That might be more of the Conan stuff that I start going after, but I don't know. Migo was offered Star Wars but turned it down because they were doing Micronauts at the time. And well, the rest is history. You know, I did hear that at the time, movie toys just didn't sell. Like, if you didn't have episodic TV, like series running, then there was no point because a movie, after it's run in the theater, they didn't have VHS way back when, they didn't have DVDs and all that. When the movie was done in the theater, out of sight, out of mind, it was just gone. So when you look at the time, you understand why George Lucas had a hard time selling that to a toy company. But in retrospect today, you're like, oh man, so many toy companies probably could have still been alive had they tried to get that license, or at least one that maybe isn't around anymore could still be alive because they went after that, you know? Oh boy. Now we're hitting. See, we, brother and me, were collectors of both Star Wars and G.I. Joe. Even as a kid, we talk about how the Kenner toys had better sculpts and durable plastic. Loved Joe's articulation, but couldn't hold. Man, that is one thing. I didn't think about it as a kid, but yeah, like I don't think any of my Star Wars figures ever broke. And the Joes, you'd break a thumb and all that stuff. Like it was almost like today we talk about some NECA figures having brittle plastic. Way back when GI Joe was kind of NECA, they had that brittle plastic, and Kenner had more of that toy feeling stuff. Someone did some digging and they found that Valaverse has the Cops license with three different interpretations. Fresh Monkey Fiction has those minifigs of Cops coming. Interesting. Ooh, Bobby Vala could do some killer things with that Cops license. That would be sweet. Flatline, it's really hard for me as I'm just learning about some of these other indie companies. That's okay, Flatline. I'm with you. I mean, I know about them, but I don't have much experience with them. So this is a learning experience for possibly several of us. Anton, Sound Waverly School, Sound Waverly School, Soundwave? Let's see, especially he was done by the great Frank Welker and the same voice of Dr. Claw. That's true. I remember the one episode where Ravage, I think, grabbed Chip Chase and jumped out of the window with Chip. And Soundwave said, excellent Ravage or something, but they didn't use whatever they used for Frank Welker's voice normally. And I'm like, whoa, Dr. Claw is Soundwave? That was like I remember hearing that way back when and being totally thrown off. Rick, one AWOC, two Mythic Legion slash Cosmic Legions slash Figure Obscura, two the Four Horsemen, and three Medi toys. Ah, okay. So, Rick, what's your favorite? Give me two or three of your favorite AWOC figures. And we'll start off with those guys. See, yes, Micronauts were the O-ring originators. Awesome sauce there. Awesome sauce there. Good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, I need a swig of chocolate milk. That might have been a little more than a swig, but it was tasty. So I'm okay with that. Harry Star, Micronauts are alive and well in Japan is the original Microman line. Oh, there you go, Star. You just got to get some imports going. Perhaps Ami Ami? I don't know. Micronauts, oh, that's really awesome. I have still a few of them, and they should have done the characters from the comic book. What a great comic. Underappreciated, just like Rom. Rom's all space 90. All right, once the Star Wars craze happened, Micronauts and many toy lines couldn't compete, which contributed to it fading. Yeah, that makes sense too. That probably makes more sense than what I was thinking, actually, Brick. Mr. Matson, send images to IG DMs about the licensing registration. Oh, I'll be checking that out, Mr. Matson. I appreciate that. That is awesome. Star, one Jada Edge Runners, 3-0 DLX Transformers, AWOC. Not sure if 3-0 counts as indie, but definitely not mainstream. I think 3-0 is its own thing, so I think you're safe. Okay, we'll check those too. Obviously, Jada, you know I'm a fan. Miss Cogsmith, ahoy, figure friends. Happy rainy Thursday from Phoenix. Oh, poor Miss Cogsmith living in Phoenix in the little rain. I'm only mocking you because Michigan still is flirting with snow. And it usually does that through about July. Michigan's like, hey, you think you're warm now? Watch this. Hold my winter storm advisory. Rick, I have a clear memory of snapping Zap's thumb, broke my heart. Oh, yeah, man. So many Joes got the busted crotch piece and the busted thumb. Sadness. You should make Silver Age Cap as your first Mezco. Okay, Toy Odyssey, here's the thing. I think what I should do is get a Rumble Society. And I'm not going to get a cap, but the only reason is I have my Mofex cap and I love that figure. And I'm good with cap now. Unless there's like unless Mofex or somebody else makes an ultra modern take that's as good as the Mofex, I think I'm good. But I definitely appreciate the suggestion. If you can think of anything from Rumble Society, let me know. Not that I could find it now anyway. All right, let's head over to BBTS, or actually, hang on. I think Spiro has a website. What am I even thinking here? Spiro Toys, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Spiro Shop. All right, Brick, we're going to need some of your help here. As soon as I open this up, as soon as I share this page, I want to know, and from anybody else that's a big fan of AWOC, I want to know what your favorite figures are from that line. Because what we might be able to do is get enough people checking this stuff out and being like, okay, I'll give that figure a shot. And maybe what ends up happening is a lot of them end up getting bought. Ooh, I actually do need Tiberius based on the fact that we've had two animals named Tibby, but they were dogs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of them we actually called Tiberius the Great, Tibby for short. Flatline, a lot of Joes and Transformers suffered from their own versions of gold plastic syndrome, especially the Joes, always having their groins break. Oh, I did not know that's what was going on with the Joes. I knew Transformers had that problem. Like I had, you know what breaks my heart? The Transmetal Megatron, the first one with the purple. I loved that dinosaur mode, like with the VTOL takeoff. Oh, that thing was amazing. I need Hasbro to get into that again. Miss Cogsmith, Brick, I had that happen with a NECA Predator I was keeping sealed for a while. The glue holding the bubble dried out, so I took the figure out of the pack and pop went his left arm. Oh, that sucks. Those are sad stories. We might need a sad story night on the live stream one day. Just be like, okay, everybody, let me know your heartbreak when it came to broken action figures. Mine is easy. My sister broke 3 of my Transformers on the same day, and those were big time. She broke Optimus Prime, she broke Soundwave, she broke Megatron. But my mom once said to me, after she broke the first one, why were the others even within her reach? Fair play, Mom. Star, Harry, seriously, they're still alive in Japan? Why don't we get classic killer stuff like that here? It so often feels like this is where imagination comes to die. I want my Micronauts. It does feel like that, but it only feels like that because the big companies don't have imagination anymore. What we're looking at here, or I shouldn't say that. There are people within those companies that have imagination. They're not allowed to let them flex, I think. So you're not getting it from those larger companies. We are getting it from these indie companies, but if Micronauts are still available in Japan, you got to find them, Star. All right, Alex, does anyone remember Bionic 6? I remember those figs were made of die-cast metal with plastic. Huh, I don't remember those. Let's see, Bionic 6 was awesome. Oh. Anton, does anybody here know the show Farscape? I have all the figures. Good Lord. I've heard of Farscape, but that's as far as my knowledge goes. Miss Cogsmith, I would cheer for snow if it was easier to drive in, but you can have the sunshine we have too much of, Dave. Miss Cogsmith, I would love that. I would probably honestly trade you. I'd be like, tell you what, Miss Cogsmith, you move to Michigan, I'll go to Arizona, and I think I'd be in a much better spot for me. Like I genuinely feel like I'm way too far north. I was not made to be this far from the equator. Uh, but yeah, I think one of my problems is driving in snow. And it's not so much me. I'm a crazy driver when it comes to good pavement, but when it comes to the snow, I'm a very good driver. It's everybody that's around me. Toy Odyssey, yes, Vampirella was for Zeta girls. That's what I was thinking right there. I don't know why I went with that accent there either. Brick, AWOC. Truly, at this point, all released figures are $1 of $2. But let's see, but figure wise, the original Kali and the horrid mongrel / gladiator mongrel. I don't remember that one. I remember the Kali. Hang on, let's go find the Kali. Okay, Conquest Armor Kali. But then they also had the bigger Kali, right? Let me go back here. Make sure I got what you said. Let's see, the original Kali. Yeah, okay. So this is the original Kali. I just want to know. I want to know what the good stuff is. Kali does look pretty rad. What do we have here? And they all, the one thing about AWOC that drives me crazy, and this isn't a knock. I mean, it is a knock, but it's not a real knock. It's that when I look at the listings, they don't list the extra hands, but they all come with the extra hands. So for a while, I didn't know they had extra hands. It's terrible. Brought tears to my eyes. Now I want to see if I can find, while I'm here, hang on. I want to find the horrid mongrel. These were the first ones, I believe. Oh, there you go. By the way, here we go. Who is that looking for Thane? Because here he is on Spiro for $40.89. This is probably where you want to go get your Thane. Awesome. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. This one sold out, but Thane's good. Let's see. I'm looking. Army builders, show me the horde. Let's see. Okay, horde infantry. I thought the Chinari looked really cool. Ooh, maybe the horrid mongrel's gone. Oh, wait. Feral gear. This is all gear. Oh, no. It might be that the horrid mongrel's all gone, guys. I may have failed us. Let me try. Let's give this a shot. We'll go to BBTS. I know, I probably could have just typed AWOC, but All right, let's find. Oh, you know what else I could type there? Horrid mongrel. Hey, look at that. We've got one. Woo! He's adorable. All right, so Kali, the horrid mongrel, let's see, or the gladiator mongrel, might have to look for him too. But yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are Brick suggestions on the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom if you want to check them out. Personally, I keep gravitating toward Thane, but I know his articulation isn't as good as these guys. It's raining in San Diego. Oh, Alexi, you and your San Diego probably have some of the best weather in the country. This would be me being highly jealous. Oh, man. Lot of chat now. Yeah, Star, they still produce Microman, but they're a little different. Cool stuff, though. Hey, as long as it's still there, they still produce G.I. Joe, but they're definitely different as well. Microman might be key for you, Star. Yeah, 3-0 definitely isn't an indie company at this point, especially when Skywarp is showing up at Japanese Tesso Life Marts near me. I don't know what that means, but I would say that 3-0 is an indie company as long as it's not. I tend to think as long as it doesn't have a larger group owning it, like an investment firm, or it's not publicly traded and all that, I would think 3-0 can count as a indie company. I don't know about Jada. I need to look more into Jada. Right, the Kali I'm talking about is listed as Conquest Armor Kali. I think I found that one, the original one, because I remember he was one that was making a lot of the review rounds. Star, if Jada starts making Space Ghost / Herculoids and Thundar characters, I'm going to speak to my boss about setting up automatic deposits into Jada's account instead of my paychecks. Let's see, you know what, Star? I think that's a good idea. That way, you can't miss the money you never had in the first place. So, totally, do that. I think that's important. And I think you might want to make sure that your boss is also still handling the FICA portion of the checks. So that way you're going to be good to go either way. Basically, you just treat Jada as another. No, never mind. I would never say to treat Jada as another tax because that makes Jada sound sad. And I don't want to do that to you. I had that one too. He snapped dead in half. Oh, are you talking about that predator that Miss Cogsmith's talking about? Oh, that makes me sad. Harry Star, wait till you see the Microman figures that wear Godzilla kaiju costumes. No. Dude, I might need to look at some Microman now. Oh, sadness. Star, are they the same characters? Some of those 70s figs were all die-cast. Such an amazing line. It's a good thing Brick knows all this stuff. Like you were saying before, the only company that jumped on the companies that had toys to make into action figures for movies was Mego. They jumped on the Planet of the Apes after Planet of the Apes. And I guess if there were movies that were constantly, or like franchises constantly pumping out sequels, I can see jumping on that toy bandwagon. Miss Cogsmith, no Transformer deaths. It was sadness, Miss Cogsmith. It was a dark, dark day in my life. My sister did eventually make it up to me, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that there were still days where I was like, oh, kids these days. I am her older brother. So that's why I should have been smart enough to keep some of those out of her reach. Anton was over and Star Trek was in reruns. Oh, after Planet of the Apes was over. Okay. So maybe that's key. Syndication from way back. Flatline, the Transmetal Megatron was one of the figures I earned by doing an art commission and making the money for him. Oh, that's awesome, Flatline. That's a good story. He was such a great Transformer. I love that thing. Like two of my favorite Transformers of all time, no lie, were the original Transmetal Optimus Primal and the original Transmetal Megatron. I thought those figures were just so much fun. I mean, come on. Optimus Primal on a surfboard? You can't stop that. Rick, give it time, Star. I think you'll like where Super 7 wants to go with their Micronauts. You know what? They're Super 7, I'm not a Super 7 guy. I mean, their scales are all wrong for what I collect. Their articulation isn't where I want it to be. But I've been tempted by their G.I. Joe O-rings and to see that they were doing more with O-rings. Are those Micronauts? Are the Micronauts going O-ring style? Because that would make sense if they were the originators. Flatline, the designers on, let's see, down have the imagination. The corporate only imagine how to make money. That's true, Flatline. That's true. Yeah, the designers, you feel bad for them, honestly. Like their lines, like I would feel bad. And this is not, it always sounds like I'm knocking a line, right? And I don't mean this as a knock. We've talked about how Marvel Legends has to churn out so many figures that you almost have to lose your passion for it because You're just churning out figures. You don't have time to make them like as good as they could be. And you oftentimes don't have the budget to make them as good as they could be. And you're constantly reusing the same bodies. Like if I were a toy designer, I would not want to be on the Marvel Legends team because I'd feel like I couldn't be creative. Let's see. I already checked that out. Me apologies. We're working on it, dude. Miss Cogsmith, I have tales of terror as well. Figure destruction at the at the paws of Spot, the kitty that has a taste for mecha predator wrist blades. Good lord, Miss Cogsmith. Here's okay. Clearly, the kitty went after Predator, and the kitty won. But did the Predator get swift revenge by the fact that the cat may have swallowed some of the Predator blades? Was the Predator like, I'm not going out like this. I'm taking you down with me. That would be rough. If it weren't for the Micronauts, then we probably never would have had Transformers. Another bit of info from The Toys That Made Us. I gotta stop that. That's embarrassing for all of us. Flatline Bionic 6 was kind of a spin-off of the Bionic Man. That makes sense. The $6 million man. Or am I talking out, you know what, again? Every time someone says Bionic 6, I hear the theme song in my head. Great googly moogly, and I don't know my Bionic 6. Egad, man. Oh no, all the love. Clearly, Bionic 6 needs to be purchased by somebody. Flatline in Bionic 6, instead of just the father having powers, the process is done to the whole family to save their lives. Ooh. And then they can never have normal lives. So did they really save their lives or did they just prolong their deaths? Sci-Fi George, I own the complete Blu-ray set of Farscape. See, I don't know my things. All right, so we looked at AWOC and Brick gave us his suggestions. We've got this guy and we've got Kali. So if anybody's curious about testing out AWOC, there's some things. Now, I've heard people talk about some Mythic Legions quite a bit. I've heard a lot of that lately, probably because of Beathir. So here's what I want next. Anybody that's into Mythic Legions, tell me what your favorites are. But here's the caveat. I'm going to want decent articulation. And I know from the research I've done, it seems that Skeleton 2.0 is better than the original, and he does get a little more than 90 degrees. And, excuse me, the Valiant Knight does better than 90 degrees, and he's what a lot of the Knights are based on. Oh, good Lord. He's what a lot of the Knights are based on in the Necronymous wave, just like how the Skeleton 2.0 is also a large part of the Necronymous wave. So I want to know, what are some of your favorite Mythic Legions that have fairly decent articulation? Because, yeah, curious. And I know that was number 2 on your list there, Brick. Star Flatline sad, but true. Man, I didn't even drink anything at that point. I think air went down the wrong pipe. That's embarrassing. Flatline, my first figure from Bionic 6 was actually Globe. Was Globe of the cherubic sort. It just sounds like he would be with a name like Globe. Mr. Matson, Farscape is a favorite of mine. We did pregnancy photos as John and pregnant Aeron. We did John and Aeron for years. My wife even made me a custom 1812 DRD. Good Lord. Okay, first off, knowing nothing about that, that sounds awesome that you guys did that. But second, yeah, I know nothing. I don't know what many of those words mean. It makes me sad. I do know the word photos, and I know the word pregnancy. After that, it's game over, man. Sci-Fi George, caringly waiting for my Monkey Women's Vulture Necromancers from AWOC. Oh, I don't think I've heard of those. I'll have to check those out. Star loving those AWOC birds. I remember seeing the bird. That must be what you guys are talking about. I remember seeing some of that, and I thought those looked sweet. Rick, excellent. So anyfig is great, just about your visual preferences. Okay. I'm getting Lion King energy from that. Flatline, yep. Areem away, areem away. Break. Yeah, Star. The future waves of AWOC are game changers. Yeah, that's something I'll have to pay attention to that a little more. Let's see. He's a good Yin Bean. I don't think I've heard Yin Bean. Oh Lord, you guys are teaching me so much. I'm hearing things like words that are crazy, like Farscape. Flatline, I now need Bionic 6 classified in 6-inch scale. Like Farscape and Yin Bean and Bionic 6. I mean, I don't, these combinations of words frighten and confuse me. Brick, definitely Flatline. I like the the neck tough overlay. Same buck, but that little overlay creates a cool silhouette change. Star Brick, each wave looks better and better if that's even possible. AWOC looks to me like what Thundercats were always trying to be. They look fantastic. Imagine if Spiro got the Thundercats license. Now we'd be talking. Anton, it's going to rain in New Jersey very soon on Sunday. Dang it. Actually, I shouldn't complain too much. Right now, when I look at the forecast, it's looking like we're starting to come out of all this and we're in the 40s and 50s. So snow's not looking too likely in our immediate future anyway. Original Star Trek reruns were one of the first exposures I ever had to sci-fi. It pretty much foretold my future path. Nice. And it does seem Transformers has taken some inspiration from Star Trek as well, considering your 3.0 purchases. I was on a Transmetal Rat Trap kick as well as Transmetal Rampage. Oh, I had both of those too. Rat Trap was amazing. Rampage was very cool. He was just harder to handle. Like the easiest one to handle was probably Cheetor. For whatever reason, I loaded up on those. I thought those things were rad. Anton, well, when the guy who killed off Optimus Prime used to go to cons, he said he felt it was the equivalent of somebody breaking into a kid's room and breaking all of his toys. Oh, who was that? Was it Friedman? Was it Dilly? I can't remember. I've seen some stuff about all that. Star, am I wrong in feeling this way? But why does it seem like Western companies only care about profits while Eastern companies care about quality and love of product? You know, I don't know how it works when we're talking like a Japanese toy line. I don't know enough about the culture over there. It does seem like they care more about their employees, and I would think that I don't know. I don't know. Anything I say might be just talking out of school entirely. But I know I hear stories about CEOs in Japan being like, hey, this is hitting all of us. I'm going to take a pay cut and all this and try and make it so you guys don't have to. And let's get through this. You never hear about that in the US. So I think honestly, employees are treated better overall when we're talking at least about large companies. And if employees are treated really well, they're going to do better work. And if you're a company like Hasbro who's constantly laying people off, imagine being in that situation. You're freaking out like every day, wondering if the axe is going to fall on you next. So there's probably something to that a little bit. Miss Cog Smith, thankfully, nope. Spot just snapped a few of them off. He's a chewer, not an eater. Oh, thank goodness. That's good because actually, cats are pretty awesome. My sister had a cat that Like we'd go there for Christmas. We could never use bows and we could never use plastic bags because the cat would just chew it and she'd eat it. Like I think a lot of cats, like mom's cat, will chew on plastic, but that's like her saying, "Hey, give me real food or I'm going to chew your stuff." It's very strange. Cats are kind of awesome though. I used to love the Bionic 6 song. It was really good. Bionic 6. That's probably nowhere near what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Future Customs. Ahoy. Awee moe. Flatline, as much as I actually love modern Marvel Legends and the original Toy Biz ones, I agree. Those bodies are going to be used until the molds break. And then they've probably got multiples of those molds, actually. Like, I think they have multiples of the tools that they use to make those bodies. So when one goes down, hey, we've just got a replacement over here. Sci-Fi $6 million man plus the Brady Bunch equals Bionic 6. Oh no. Anything plus the Brady Bunch equals fail, Sci-Fi. It equals fail. Why? Gotta run. Love the focus on indie toys, Dave. Brick, thank you for showing up, man. It's always appreciated. Let's see. Flatline, LOL. I meant glove. I'm sorry. You're all right, Flatline. No worries. Clearly, we're a very serious and angry crowd here. Kyrus, I want 1/6 Cyclops. Just want to throw that out there. that's something to throw out there, Kyrus. I bet I am scared to get into 1/6 figures, honestly, because one, the space they take up, and two, the financial hit I would take because I know that I would fall down a rabbit hole and want just tons of them. So I'm like, no, that's a bad Dave. No, stay away. I only have the old Mythic Legions from when they first came out, nothing current. Oh, Flatline, you're killing me. I kid. No worries, man. I was looking at a lot of that stuff, and it looks good as far as like the Necronymous wave and after. So I was just curious. I know we used to play what our action figures are, and now we just take pictures of them or display them. When I used to have so many adventures with the ones I just played with as a kid. Yeah, I think that the figure photography, at least as far as for me, and I hope some of you guys, since you're following this channel and you participate, and I very much appreciate all that. I think a lot of it is today, that is how we play with our figures, you know? You try and be creative because I would argue that almost anybody that's into action figures is also into some form of creativity. And so I think that one of the best ways to play, because let's face it, when we were kids, we'd smash them together, we'd lose things, we wouldn't care so much and all that. Today, you take the pictures so you're not having to smash them together and do all that stuff. I think that's just the way we do it now. And I also think because of our slightly more advanced storytelling capabilities, we could have even more fun today than we did as kids, with the exception of not having our pals get around us so we could all play with toys, because that would be totally different these days, I think. Flatline, particularly the Marvel legend named Otho, because he looked like me when I graduated from Buffalo State College and my beard started to grow in. Oh no, Mythic Legion named Otho. Did you get him, Flatline? I mean, if he looked like you totally have to pick him up. Star Transformers Shockwave, awesome character creation, was based on the Vulcans from Star Trek. Really, pointing ears and living by logic, the toys that made us. I have to watch that episode again. I know I saw it, just because there's no way I would have skipped a Transformers episode. Anton, okay, bad nerd, I'll educate you about Farscape. Farscape is a wonderful series from Brian Henson An astronaut uses a device to travel faster than the speed of light by traveling, let's see, for wormhole. Do you mean via wormhole? Let's see. I got charged BBTS for Mythic Legions. Finally, waited so long for those toy picks. Nice, Kyrus. What did you get? Which legions will be yours? Anton, he makes it to the other side of the galaxy and ends up on a prison ship with a whole bunch of aliens that have lots of bad issues, but eventually they all work together for the common good. Nice. It's a good redemption story. Anton, I'm one of the best villains. Let's see, in sci-fi, just as good as Darth Vader or any of those other any of the others. Scorpius. No, no one's as good as Darth Vader. False, false, no one. Darth Vader is the greatest of all villainy. All time. Kyrus, the Necronominus set, I did too, and I'm hyped for them. Oh, you guys gotta, yeah, I'm on pins and needles here. I gotta know what you guys got. See, good evening, Dave and chat. Ray, what's up, man? Good evening. Thank you for stopping in. Woo. Oh boy, yep. You guys gotta fill us in because these are some of the things I'm curious about. I want to know. Did you get them all? Did you go all in? I'm hoping for Cosmic Legions to take that leap into better articulation. That happens, and it's going to be a different world. And you know they're going to, Star. Like, you know it's going to happen. That's where it gets tricky. Christopher Words, what's up, man? Hello, I'm in the middle of building a cave diorama to take pictures with my Mythic Legions figures, crossing my fingers that it turns out good. Oh man, that's awesome. What are you using, Christopher? Like, what kind of materials are you using to make it, and how big is it? I don't think I've heard of anyone messing with a cave dio. That's sweet. Star, I can't take the mental picture of smashing my 30 DLX Transformers into each other as I play with them. Total mental breakdown. I could see that. Even my MDLXs, I can't handle that kind of picture. Flatline, I sure did. I'm glad I have them. I couldn't dream buying them right now since he's over 500 bucks. Wow, Flatline. You know, I was looking up Ethereum, the Eagle God guy, and that thing was like $400 to $700 on eBay. And I'm just going, wow, it's a good thing they're just now changing their articulation because I wouldn't want to have to go back and try and get some of this stuff. That's crazy. That's cool that you have something that's worth that in your collection, though. And anybody that's been collecting those things for a while has quite a few, I'm sure. Flatline, I'm grateful I still find time to have my little adventures when I'm not doing my toy photos. I had my Blockies Optimus on a hoverboard swooshing around in the street. That's awesome, Flatline. See, I would want a picture of that. That just sounds sweet. I mean, but at the same time, I can see somebody just kicking back and being like, you know what? I'm just going to let it roll. Let's see. All while the Miss was at her doctor's appointment. You're like, you have fun, dear. I'm going to go roll prime on a board. We're just going to have fun in the parking lot. Kyrus, Mythic Legions has Zombie and the Black Knight and the Golden Knight. Also the tuberculous skeleton and the large crown skeleton. I can never remember their names. Let's see. The Zombie, the Black Knight. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Because I have been studying these. I think that's Elijah. The Golden Knight is Sir Gideon. So you got Sir Elijah, Sir Gideon, Turpiculus, or something. I can't remember that one either. Let's see, and the large crown skeleton. That's Necronominus himself, isn't it? Or is that, oh no, the one that you can turn into the Reaper? Is it that one? Okay, you know what? I'm going to go look at the Mythic Legion stuff. We're on here right now. Oops. What have I done? No, it's What am I doing? That's totally wrong. What? Oh dear, people. Okay, you know what? Why am I not remembering how to do this? I've looked this thing up so many times. All right, Necronomus. Necronominus. That's what I was getting wrong. Now we're good. Okay. All right. So see, like I saw this skeleton horse and I thought that thing is sweet. But what I learned, well, first off, look at that thing, guys. Tell me that that isn't cool. I mean, and I know that they're pricey, like that's 80 bucks. But had I gotten it from Mythic Legions itself, it wouldn't have been, or from Store Horseman, it wouldn't be that high. And all the figures that are 50 bucks on here would have been 37. So like all this is, it's just way cheaper if I do it there. But I'm going to have to get some of this stuff so I can test to find out if it's worth spending the $37. Like this one obviously would be more than 37, but look at how ridiculously cool this is. And the one thing about Mythic Legions and the Four Horsemen is I've always admired their sculpts. I've always loved the way they looked, whether it was sculpt, whether it was paint, but the articulation kept me back. And it was kind of nice because I knew, okay, the articulation's not that great. I don't have to buy it. I don't have to sweat it. The wallet is safe. Now they're working on the articulation a little bit, and the wallet is far less safe. Like this guy, I was looking at this, and I thought this dude was sweet. Maxilius the Harvester, that's this one. And I think it's just, I mean, he's cool on his own, but then you can also make him the Reaper, and all this can come off, and he's the Skeleton 2.0. I just think there is something about the imagination going on over there. And ever since Beathir was announced, I've been looking a lot more at these things. Christopher, the cave will be 24 by 24 with 3 sides, using building foam with spraying in insulation to create the cave. Oh, that's a good idea. I just finished spraying the walls gray with more work to come. Christopher, that is absolutely amazing, man. When that thing is good to go, when you think it's done and you're really happy with it, let us all know. Get on here and tell us where we can find pictures of it because I would love to show that off on the live stream. So just be sure to keep us all posted. So I definitely want to see how that works for Mythic Legions if I'm going to dive in a little bit here. Anton, good luck with the cave. Yeah. I got the whole Necro wave, and they are awesome. The Mythic Legions are cheaper if you order direct from Four Horsemen, but the wait can be really long. Yeah, I think somebody was it the Necronominus wave that people were saying that they waited 2 years for? Because I know that was a bone. He says with a skeleton on the screen. That was a bone of contention for several people, as far as I know, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I really like the look of this guy. I like the way the knights look. Like where's Sir? Here we go. Like yeah, Sir Elijah here is 50 bucks on BBTS, but he would have been 37 or maybe 35. I don't know. It depends on what they were when they went up for pre-order on Store Horseman. So I gotta, if I dig them, I'm gonna have to start thinking about Store Horseman a lot more. But like this is based on the Valiant Knight body, so the elbows have more range. And to be very honest, when it comes to knights, I think the armor is so heavy that you're not going to want them doing ninja poses in this stuff because if they tried to crouch down like Snake Eyes, they couldn't get up and they'd get killed by one of Necronominus's guys. So I'm not that worried about the fact that the articulation isn't crazy. Plus, I have seen some reviews on some of these, and it looks like the gauntlet actually hits up in the bicep area. So, or it's awfully close to doing so. So even if they had more range, you couldn't really move them much because of the armor. But I love the way these things look. And I love 1/6 shooter shots. He does a great job showcasing these figures. Miss Cogsmith, Christopher, does Four Horsemen take pre-order payment up front or wait until they ship? I think, Miss Cogsmith, I believe they take it up front. I know I'm not Christopher, but he'll know for sure. So yeah, we've got these. There's just all kinds of stuff. And then you look at a horse like this. This thing's crazy. I mean, I have to say, I've been obviously I love Mofex, I love Jada. Those are like my two lines, right? But then you've got Monster Force, which is ridiculously good, which should have been shown off more tonight. But I've gotta tell you what, guys, we got about what do we got? It's 8:45. We have 15 minutes. So I might go to Monster Force to show them a little more. Action Force is an amazing line. Like there's so much good stuff coming from indie companies. Savage Crucible, I need to get one of those in hand. Like and and genuinely, I think for the big time companies to compete with these guys, they're going to have to raise their prices. And if they raise their prices, people just are going to stop buying them. So I think they're stuck. I don't think they can do enough of what the indie companies are doing to even compete at this point. And honestly, unless Mattel can come out guns a blazing and show off some awesome DC stuff, I think I'm okay with that because I can get my comic fix from Mofex. I can get my fun video game characters from Jada, my turtles from NECA, and just get all the other stuff, classified. I can still pick and choose my G.I. Joe. I can still pick and choose my Transformers from Hasbro. And Mattel will probably be a pick and choose line. But overall, I think my collection's going to really start moving toward indie. I mean, they're just better, very frankly. And I just don't think that the big companies are allowed to be better anymore. They're not allowed to compete. Miss Cogsmith, they take payment up front. Whew, I was right. That was scary for a little bit. I don't like to be wrong. That may work out better for me in the long run. Thank you. Yeah, what was it? I was watching a video and he was talking about how if you go all in, then I mean, as long as you've got money saved up to go all in and pay up front, then in the long run, you save like a couple $100 by going all in on Store Horseman instead of waiting to be BTS. But if you don't go all in, sometimes it does make more sense to go and get these individually on various websites. So it just depends on what you want to do and how you want to collect the line. Anton, the Reaper would look great with Bill and Ted. Yes. The Grim Reaper was one of the coolest characters in the Bill and Ted movies. There are also blank bodies you can pick up and custom your own look and figures you want. Oh, Ray, you mean in Mythics? Miss Cog Smith, Anton, I thought so too. Comic accurate, even. Ray, I want to see if someone makes some D&D cartoon character soft goods. Oh, somebody's going to go nuts there as long as D&D retains some kind of popularity. Ray, I didn't love the Hasbro D&D cartoon characters. That's one thing. I don't know what Hasbro, I mean, obviously we'll never know what they charge for their licenses, but when they're not putting together great things for marketing, like great shows, and I mean, people love the comics, but the comic audience isn't very big, like great shows, great movies, their IPs aren't going to be worth anything after a few years. So I really hope they start to understand the importance of getting some entertainment out in front of people. because I don't want those brands to die. I love a lot of what Hasbro has. See, India have been giving more for what you pay, honestly. As long as corporations cut costs and price more, they're going to eventually shoot themselves in the foot. I think they're kind of there. I think we're at that tipping point right now. Star, I'm always hungry for new stories, new worlds. That's something that the larger companies just won't create. Until they do, they're pretty much useless to me. Star, go to, like, if you, not that you want to start spending more money. You know what? I shouldn't even tell you that. You probably know. So with Cosmic Legions, I'm sure they have the same thing they do with Mythic Legions, where you can get online and you can read little bios about all the characters. It's kind of like getting file cards from your G.I. Joe figures from way back when. So I've been reading a lot of those. I think that's really cool and it's good for world building too. So I was going to tell you about it for Mythics. I'm sure you saw them for Cosmics too. Ray, no, just in general. Oh, okay, Ray. Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, because I don't think I've seen anything Mythics wise that does just a gray model, but I have seen like SHF do stuff like that, and McFarlane's done some. Christopher, yes, it is a much better deal if you go all in with the Horseman pre-orders. If you just want a few, it can be a better deal to wait and order from a toy shop that might offer free shipping and no tax. Got it. Much appreciated, Christopher. Anton, good night, everybody. Good night, Anton. Thank you for hanging out, man. It's always a pleasure. Always good to see you here. Agree. Yeah. All right, let me go to, because this is a line that I just can't seem to quit. Not that I would want to, because I think Mythic Legion's got a lot of love today, but I think something else that needs to get a lot of love is Fresh Monkey Fiction slash Big Bad Workshops Operation Monster Force. Now, we've talked about this general before with all the heads, all the hands. Like, you know how it is. Either you take 4 images and do a lot of fancy photoshopping to put 4 generals in the same room, or you buy 4 General Browns. And then you just do this. You just throw all the heads on all, well, you throw 1 head each on each body and you're good to go. But I love they've even got the aviators. Oh, that's quality stuff. But yeah, I mean, Operation Monster Force is, they just go so well with everything else in my collection, to be perfectly honest. And they're getting stuff like generals, just your basic general that no one else is doing. You're getting your very basic soldiers that G.I. Joe has touched on, but they're not giving near as much value. Or I shouldn't say that. Monster Force is pricier than G.I. Joe. So I shouldn't say they're not giving near as much value. They're not giving near as much for photography, I don't think, when it comes to hands and heads specifically. But the figures look great, so I'm not knocking what Lenny and the team are doing. I think they're doing, I think of all of Hasbro's brands, Lenny and the team are doing the most with the budget they're given, just based on what I've seen. I just want extra hands to be standard, but I could say that for forever. But yeah, Monster Force has all this stuff going on. And then you end up with just a good old fashioned soldier, too, who's got like this zombie head almost. That's more camo, but like, yeah, just all kinds of cool stuff that you can do with this stuff. All kinds of cool stuff you can do with this stuff. Words are hard for me tonight, obviously. You got your secret agent man here. Here come the man in black. I'm Bond. James Bond. Nah, that's just a suit. That's not a tux. They need somebody with a tux to be Bond. And then, of course, you've got your Cthulhu looking guy. Like, I love Monster Force. I've got in the first wave, I'm only missing 3. I need to get those 3 still. But yeah, I think this line is another indie line that is doing what we want. Like, if Hasbro or Mattel gave us this many accessories at 38 bucks and a figure that was this good, I don't think I'd balk at it. I think I'd go for it. But the problem is, I don't think they would do this because I think they'd lose too many customers to make figures at the volume that they want to create them at. So yeah, there's all that too. Sci-fi get General Brown for the Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross head. Yep, yep. That's necessary, I think. I think General Brown's pretty rad. Christopher, Monster Force looks cool, but I'm trimming down and can't justify starting another line. Christopher, I totally understand what you're saying. I was telling these guys at the beginning of the stream that I ordered something from a line that I've never ordered from before. And what I didn't say is I'm a little worried I'm going to really like it because then I don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be another rabbit hole, and that always frightens me. Ray, yeah, it's a cool line. I'm waiting for them to reissue that Declan Van Helsing. Man, I was so lucky. Tragic got a Declan and he sent it to me. It is an amazing figure, Ray. When you get a hold of him, you're going to love that figure. It is, I mean, it's not a monster, so I think people slept on it, but all of its accessories, I mean, it is just cool. Ray, it's on pre-order right now. Awesome, man. Awesome. Sci-fi Monster Force and Space Zombies blend well together because they both use the same artist sculptor, even though different companies. Didn't they? I think Brick was saying that they also, that same sculptor has worked on Classified as well, correct? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure I remember that entirely. So we've got Monster Force. We've got, I just want to make sure that these companies are getting their due. We've got Valaverse with their Action Force line here. And look at this thing. I still haven't ordered any of these, and they're in stock. I have too many pre-orders outstanding right now, or you'd see me order this guy right this second. But there's just some characters that are so cool, or some figures that just look so good. And the Praetorian here is one of them. I have to get this thing. I've got to do it. But that might wait a little bit. Hopefully not too long. I don't want to miss out on this one. But yeah, there's so much good stuff coming out. I'm considering dropping my pre-orders for SHF Lord of the Rings simply to save money for Jada and 3-0 Transformers. If Amazing Yamaguchi makes Alien or Predator, I'm so doomed. I think you're probably safe. I don't think they're making there doesn't Amazing Yamaguchi mostly do human characters? I mean, I guess Predator. Ugh, I'm not even tired. What the heck? I guess Predator can be thought of as a little humanoid. They could make something like that. I'm still waiting, Star. I know you asked about 52 Toys and their Alien. We still haven't gotten additional news on that. I would love to get some additional info on that thing. But yeah, guys, there are just tons of indie companies. There's tons of stuff. There are tons of options. And look at this. This Valaverse figure is 30 bucks. That is crazy for what all you're getting here. That's amazing. And I'm assuming he's still making money. Otherwise, he wouldn't be this far along in the process. So yeah, I love what all these companies are doing. And I think, very frankly, they're starting to, they should be making at least the action figure designers in the big two, they should be making them sweat a little bit. Because unless you're somebody that's been collecting those lines for so long, like, so Marvel Legends has been around since 2002. At this point, Marvel Legends itself is nostalgia. So unless you're somebody that's been collecting a line like that for forever, there is almost no reason to jump into any of these newer lines. Like, you can get far better figures. I mean, aside from price, and I totally understand that. But If you're a quality over quantity person, there is zero reason to jump into a Hasbro or Mattel line right now, with the possible exception of G.I. Joe Classified if you're talking figures. It's insane right now how good these independent companies are making things, like, especially for photography. And obviously, that's my sweet spot. That's what I dig about this stuff. Sci-fi Declan gives off Flint vibes with a Duke haircut. You know what, Sci-fi? Something I want to do is when that Flint pre-order comes through, I want to see if I can put his head on the Declan body, because I do want him updated a little bit, and I think Monster Force is the only way I'm going to be able to do that. Cesare Studio makes some awesome gladiators. I forgot about Cesare. And Frazetta Girls are making great Frazetta figures. We talked about those earlier in the stream. I can't wait for my barbarians to come in from Savage Crucible to see what they're like. Man, I've got to play with some Savage Crucible. The barbarians look really cool. I told the stream earlier, my mom actually went in on a Piranoid. So once that shows up, I'll be taking a look at that, and I'll look at that and say, man, now I need to get into Savage Crucible. Ray, it's cheaper on the Valaverse site. He gives options of no packaging, slightly cheaper. Really? I didn't know. It's been a bit since I've been on his site. I didn't know he was giving a no packaging option. That's amazing. Ray, it may be sold out though on the site now that I think about it. That's all right. The fact that he even has those options is pretty cool. All right, guys, it is time for me to go. I'm glad we got to talk about this stuff. I'm glad if you guys didn't know about some of these things that you got introduced to it. I think it's just the stuff, man. I think this is the stuff that is the future. Unless toy companies can decide, hey, we're so niche that we have to just up our prices and make this stuff better to keep up with the indies. I don't think their future's all that bright. I think this is where it's at. Unless we're talking imports and Jada and NECA and things like that. But anyway, that's what I've got for this one. So until next time, thanks as always for stopping by. I know this is starting to sound robotic, and I don't want it to, because when I say it, I'm absolutely serious. But genuinely, you could have done anything with your time tonight, and you chose to hang out here. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. And I hope the people in the stream appreciate all of you hanging out as well, because it's been a very cool crowd for quite some time. So there you go, folks. Until next time, have fun. Happy snapping. See ya. This is where